So it's that time of year again. We're into November, which means that we have Black Friday sales coming up towards the end of the month, and it's always interesting to see what TVs pop up there with reductions and with discounts, and what we need to be keeping an eye on, and how to get the best deals on Black Friday and so on. And is Black Friday actually the best time of year to buy a TV?
The power to tell a story is in us all. The power to change the way we feel, our understanding. Change the rules, how we see ourselves. Provoke. Change history. Together, let's change the bigger picture. Change access. Put camera gear in more hands. And keep the story going. Buy, sell, and trade used camera gear. MPB.
We're going to give you some options that might actually save you some money and get you a better bargain than Black Friday. But joining me is Ian Cullen. Hi, Ian.
Hello.
Ian does the news and articles and everything else on the forums in terms of if it's breaking news, if it's CES, or if it's things like Black Friday. Ian puts together our deal story and so on, trying to point you guys in the right direction when it comes to TVs and AV equipment and so on, and what's on offer. But let's stick to TV for this one, Ian, because it used to be in the past that you used to get some good deals because the cycle for TV releases was beginning of the year, slow summer, and then by the time you got to this time of the year, Q3, and then into Q4 as we are, that's when you started seeing discounts. But obviously, TVs are not being released in that same traditional way. Some manufacturers, only just had the Sony Bravia 9 pop in the front door for review. Some other TVs been a little bit later coming along, like the Panasonics and the Philips TVs. So, of course, TVs like that, they're not going to have huge discounts come Black Friday. And you've been doing a bit of digging around to see where you think some deals would be. And I guess the newer stuff is not going to get discounted that much, is it?
Not across the board. No, for understandable reasons. If a product's only been out for a couple of weeks or so, then you're not going to be hacking the prices down too much. But obviously, there's a lot of good TVs that came out sort of in the spring or early summer. So there are still obviously going to be a lot of good TVs that are going to be looking to maybe start getting out the window as they start looking ahead to the 2025 collection coming in, or just clear a bit of space with the Christmas rushes. So there's still good deals around, but yeah, there's not going to be great deals on everything. And again, it can be a little bit selective based on either the manufacturer and the retailers as well, based on the kind of products that they have, like you say, how new they are, and what's hot and what they need to ship
Yeah.
out the door.
In general, mass market TV buying, anything under £500, right across the whole year, they're all relatively going to be about the same in terms of performance, in terms of features, and so on. That is a sector of the market that all the manufacturers will have their certain models that will be in those ranges. And though those don't typically get huge discounts because they're already at pretty keen pricing and so on. And looking at the likes of Hisense and TCL and some Panasonic models in there and some Samsung models, under £500, you're going to have half decent smart TV, you're going to have half decent features on there and so on. So that's not really where we're looking at when we're looking at these types of deals, because what we're trying to do is trying to get you the best possible TV and smart TV and something with features and really good picture quality at reduced prices. So if we discount those TVs that have just come out from the likes of Panasonic, from the likes of Philips and so on, the flagship TVs, those are you might get a 5% discount, might get 10% if you really push a deal. But actually, if you're looking at Black Friday, we're looking more, I guess, Ian, at the likes of the LG C4, LG G4, which were early TVs out the door this year, Samsung's S95D QD OLED. We're also looking at the QN models, so from 80 and above, so 80, 85, 90, 95Ds from Samsung, those QLED TVs. We should be seeing some pretty keen discounting on those models as well. So if you want something for a bit more of a brighter room, but you want to have a lot of the new features on there, you could be looking at those QLED, Neo QLED TVs. And then we kind of drop into the mid-tier of the market, so your TCLs and Hisenses. TCL very strong in terms of pricing in the UK, and it's quite funny looking at the TCL versus Hisense thing, Ian. You've probably picked up on this as well. In Europe, it's like Hisense are more keen on terms of the price and TCL a little bit more expensive. UK, complete flip. Hisense are the more expensive of those two brands, and TCL trying to be the real value driver there. So looking at those, maybe some of last year's models like Sony's A95L, which is now into its second year as a flagship TV. And of course, LG C3, G3, and then the Samsung C models, so S95C, S90C. Where are we seeing some real bargains? Where have you noticed some real money spinners?
To be honest, the one thing that struck me most when I was looking through the lists is coming from the manufacturers themselves. I know that well, traditionally the assumption is generally that the manufacturers can be a little bit tighter with their deals and discounts, and you'll find better deals with the third party retailers. And for a large part, that is still the case. But just looking across the board, a lot of the discounts being offered by the likes of LG, and Samsung on their own in-house stores are often comparable, or in some places even better than what the retailers are offering. So that's been
Interesting.
quite a nice surprise. So like those models that we were talking about that came out sort of April, May, June time, most of those now are at least sort of a quarter to a third off the launch price, and then you factor in some of the Black Friday discounts on top of that. Because one of the things that you have to bear in mind with Black Friday is the discounted price that you're looking at, because some retailers will quote the launch price, some will quote the price that it was 2 weeks ago, and there could be quite a big difference between those. So when you compare, so one of the things that you probably need to do is to compare what you're getting from a retailer as to what you're getting from a manufacturer, because obviously the manufacturer kind of has the RRP, so to speak, of where they expect that TV to be selling for, and then the retailers will bounce with that. So you can still find some discounts on the manufacturer prices, but in some cases they're not quite as big, or they don't look as big as what they might be, because those prices have already been discounted by the manufacturer. So there's lots of good deals across lots of models. And and I think just one thing that I'd say is that, don't overlook those manufacturer stores this time around, because there are some good deals there that you might not find elsewhere.
Yeah,
and of
no,
course,
that,
they'll tempt you in with other trade-in offers, cashback, money off. I mean, I think LG, Samsung, Panasonic, Sony have all got their own in-house Black Friday deals as well going on. So they're going to have a lot of stuff that they're going to generate, and just layer upon layer of things to kind of coax you and get more money out of it.
That's an interesting place to look at it. Sometimes you head to the big high street retailers, or the independents, and forget that the manufacturers have their own portals for selling products. So yeah, that's a good tip there. I'm going to be controversial here. Forget Black Friday for TV purchasing. Unless it's an absolutely stonking deal. I think Black Friday is the wrong time to be looking for deals on TV, and that's because, and Ian's hinted at it. What kind of deal are you getting? What price is it being discounted against? And can you get bigger savings at another time of the year? And what I would probably suggest is that, because these product cycles have moved in terms of when the TVs are released throughout the year now, if you are looking for good discounted pricing from dealers or from the manufacturers direct, is to look at when the new ranges are going to come out, and have a look at what happened this year in terms of when the TVs came out that you're interested in versus last year, and then have a look and see how those prices trended over the year. Have a look at some of the news stories on AVForums, because we will highlight some of those if we notice big deals coming up, or we notice that there's significant prices off. But generally, CES time is around about January. That's when most of the 2025 models, or 2026, or whatever year we're in, are announced. And you can guarantee that come at least end of April, the first TVs for 2025 will start to trickle onto the market. And at that point, retailers are given incentives to shift stock along. And that's when I'd be looking for that TV, especially if you're looking for one of the flagship TVs, or one of the higher tier TVs, where you're going to get more value. You're going to get some of the latest technology on there, like micro lens array on the OLED side, or QD OLED. Look at those models from the last year, because I can guarantee you that, and I've been doing this a long time, and I've been going to CES, and you get all the, oh, this is fantastic, and this new process and so on. You're talking about tiny incremental differences from year to year in most cases. I can't remember the last time we saw any significant jump. So unless you've got real FOMO, and you have that fear of really missing out on something, relax. Look at last year's model, or look at the outgoing models, or even look at the model for a couple of years ago if there's still stock sitting around. C3 is a great bargain on the LG side of things, because the C4 did not move the game on in any significant way whatsoever. They're almost identical TVs. So if you can find an LG C3, and believe me, that they're going to be really cheap price-wise compared to the C4, then do that. And when the C5 comes along, you can guarantee that if there's still C3 stock around and there's not going to be that significant a jump in terms of performance, that's where you're going to get your bargains. Have you seen that, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's always the dilemma about whether you would opt for a 2024 model or pick up a cheaper 2023 model, and conversely next year whether you wait around for the 2025s or for the 2024 models to drop in price, like you say, around April. It's going to be, because it's not like there's not going to be a sale just around the corner. What with like the Amazon Prime days, you got the New Year sales to look forward to. There's always going to be bargains around at a good time. So it is a case of kind of waiting for the right time, or waiting for the right price for the right model that suits you. But yeah, there's always going to be great prices on those older models because the new ones come out, prices drop down, and it just kind of it's like you say, it's a case of figuring out what you want. There's going to be new TVs that bring out the new features, like when the MLA tech got introduced to certain TVs, and that maybe elevates them a little bit above the previous year's models if that's a big thing for you. If it's not, then you could save yourself a whole bunch of money by not upgrading to that technology, picking up a slightly older model, getting a perfectly good TV, but saving yourself a few £100s in the process.
Yeah. So we're going to have the usual Black Friday page, which Ian's going to work on in the next week or so and get that up and running on the website. So do have a look at that. We will have an emphasis on TV deals. If we do see any cracking deals, you can guarantee we will bring them to your attention. Ian, thank you very much for your time on the podcast this month. Black Friday is coming up. But again, if you're looking for a mid-tier to high-end TV, don't just go with Black Friday unless it's a stonking 50% off. If not, maybe hang on a little while and you could find better deals at a later date. Usually after CES announcements and so on, you will see movements in prices as well. And keep an eye on stock. That's usually a good indicator. So keep an eye across a few retailers. If it's a TV in particular you're looking at, see how the prices are trending, where you're seeing the drops. Like Ian says, Prime days and so on. Sometimes you can pick up a bargain. Usually stock change time or stock swap over is when you'll see that. And of course, with everything changing with later models from Sony and Philips and so on, you're going to have to wait that little bit longer if those are the models you're looking to see discount on. Another thing that people will be and have noticed this year and going on in the future is things are not getting any cheaper. Prices have taken quite a significant step up, and it seems to be the way that's where the flagships are going to be.
Yeah, I think, but that's kind of why these events or the timing structure we've been looking at is quite useful, because, like I say, about the manufacturers bringing their prices down. I don't know whether it's happening soon or whether it takes a little bit longer for the prices to come down because, like you say, things are a bit more expensive. But I think, and I guess it does make the discounts probably a little bit harder to compare against the older models, because if something came in at a higher price, and it's like, oh, now it's £500 off, but now you realize, oh, that's just what the launch price was last year. How much of a saving is that?
Yeah. So
there are a lot of factors like that to take into account, but there's also things that other people will throw in, like a lot of retailers, for example, a lot of manufacturers, they'll throw in a free soundbar with a TV. So if you want a soundbar, the TV itself might only be like £100 off, but you're getting a £700 soundbar put in. Suddenly that discount becomes a little bit better, a little bit more tempting.
Yeah.
A lot of places like Samsung, they're doing cashback offers on their TVs. So they're suddenly like £300 off the TV, but then you get £300 cashback on top of that. So it works out as a £600 discount. So there's a lot of ways that you can kind of get a little bit of added value from a discount, even if the price might be a little bit higher than it was last year.
So like I say, Ian's going to work on that article. Keep an eye out for that. Also, bargain forums and so on. And if you see bargains pop up online, you want to let everybody know, head over AVForums and get posting. Let us know where you're seeing these price differences and drops and so on, so you can help out fellow members of the community. So again, thank you very much, Ian, for bringing the Black Friday deals to our attention.